Before we start the show, we just want to let you know that we're part of the Bard Rock Network, sponsored by Dragon Master Games. Dragon Master Games is a local game store with an online storefront where you can get TTRPG products and collectibles, including trading cards. Just go to their website in the show notes and write in the comments that Bard Rock Network sent you. You can also support the network by subscribing to our Patreon or Ko-fi to access network-wide bonus content, get shout-outs on network shows, receive network swag, and even get invited to our several annual community game nights. Anyway, on with the show.
Book Club. I'm Marty, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Vicky.
Hello.
This month, you may notice this is the episode for January 2024, and it's coming out in February 2024. And I have a little bit of preamble for that. First, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our special guests this month, Riley Hopkins and Marn from Riley Hopkins and Their Amazing Friends, Interstitial.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to be here. How funny would it be if I was somebody who didn't want their last name said? It's like the title. I was like, oh, don't say that.
It's like, hang on.
The title, people can't know.
Riley Bleep from Riley Hopkins and Their Amazing Friends.
Yeah. But just don't mention that.
Nobody can know.
Riley has slowly redacted my own last name over the years of us knowing each other, which is really funny.
You are Marn last name to me, and before you were Marn as. But I pitch you. I think you're in the bio of the podcast as Marn last name.
Yes.
Put you into witness protection. Whoa.
So, with that said, we had a bit of a self-imposed scheduling snafu when we were supposed to meet before the episode's scheduled premiere date, as I got the opportunity to go see Sonic the Hedgehog live in concert. And this is relevant because we are discussing the brand new season of Interstitial Infinity, featuring Marn as the GM, Jay as Shigeo Mob Kageyama, Clown as Trish Una, Emma as Audrey Jensen, and Riley Hopkins themselves as Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, my best friend, Shadow T. Hedgehog.
I approached our little Discord channel in the Bard Rock Network Discord and said, "Hey, so I know we were supposed to record today, but I got to go to this symphony concert." And Riley said, "Please say hello to my best friend, Shadow the Hedgehog."
And you sent me a picture, and I was so happy. It's weird that it looked like it was just a PNG of him really big.
Yeah, it's literally so it was very cool. They had like the projector screen up. Like above the orchestra that would like play clips from like gameplay and like cutscenes and stuff, and at the top like of the second half of the concert they played "I Am All of Me" from Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yes,
and it's just I got the perfect image of it's just like when at the beginning of the like intro cutscene when Shadow walks up on that pile of rubble and just has the gun in his hands.
It's the one. It's what you need. That's how you know him.
I will post this on the College of Whispers socials when this episode drops, just so you all can see it, because I don't think I could have timed that picture any better.
You don't have that memorized? You don't have that whole intro cinematic memorized because you cut A and B's for it left and right?
It's the problem. I do. Because I was a Sonic kid in the early 2000s.
Yes.
I mean, we could argue, since I went to the Sonic Symphony, that I am still a Sonic kid at the age of 28.
I have bad news. I'm diagnosing you with...
Always a Sonic kid.
Diagnosing you with permanent Sonic kid. Interstitial Infinity is brand new. It just premiered on January 25th, 2024. There are 2 episodes released at the time of recording. Should I say how many are in total, or are you guys keeping that under wraps?
Yeah,
you can say how many are in total.
Okay. There are 20 episodes, with apparently a bonus episode that we are not privy to.
Recorded hot off the presses yesterday morning.
Yeah, there are actually
Recorded at
several
7
bonuses.
Yeah, we have
several bonuses.
We have several that are planned. We these are promised. People know about these. Like,
Yeah, people know about these.
We're gonna do one as an Apex one shot of like playing. We're playing Follow as members of the Apex after a.
The thing happens.
Yeah, we're gonna play Follow. We're gonna play Follow after episode 10.
Good. Okay. Avoiding the spoilers.
Avoiding the spoilers because you two have heard everything in various states of editing. I hope I got to you with the baseball edits before you got to those episodes. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
And then the one we recorded yesterday was just a bonus episode of all of the party playing poker.
I love that.
Team short motherfucker playing poker for an hour and 45 minutes. It is extremely funny. Like a true night at the inventory like vibes.
Oh, important stat that I cover every episode. Average runtime of Interstitial Infinity, 1 hour and 40 minutes.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's you know,
That's how it is, baby.
It's a little bit longer than your standard interstitial season, but that's because we do more every episode. It's dense. I don't think we still cut
that places you guys in 4th place on the average runtime leaderboard.
Okay.
Behind 2 minutes behind Dimension 20 Fantasy High,
okay.
and behind Roll For You, and of course our perennial first place, the Dungeon Run.
Yeah.
How long?
3 hours and 28 minutes.
Oh my god.
That's to be fair, that's the only live stream show that we've covered.
Okay.
That's
That
gonna
makes
be
sense.
game.
So
That's
far.
gonna be
They're
game.
they're just like a huge outlier at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How far are we from short? Like how far are we from the bottom?
The bottom right now is actually my show, Wayfaring Strangers, at 1 hour and 7 minutes.
That's good. Short. Make your actual plays shorter.
Yeah.
Make them digestible. Make them like you can listen to half on your like commute to work, and
Yes.
then the other half on your commute home.
Yeah.
Adventure Zone might have been onto something with a mid-roll ad. I'm still out on that. The mid-roll of like intermission, pause here, come back later. Not a terrible idea.
I think that's like most of the actual play shows that I've been running, and even this show has like a mid-roll. Like our episode times on here kind of fluctuate pretty wildly. We have some that are like we had to stretch to like get into the 30-minute mark, and then we had the like Agents of Damned one, I think was the longer one. But,
Be big beefy list. Listen, I understand. I have been known to drag a recording along.
We did do one interstitial recording that was like 3 hours. It was like everybody cleared their schedules specifically for that night to do it, and then we split it into 2 90-minute episodes anyway.
Yeah, that's 16 and 17. Those were one big boy that was then segmented, and Martin and I had like a long conversation about, does the average person know baseball? How strikes, they got them. I like ran a poll. I asked
Yeah, right.
people.
I read a poll on Twitter.
I had it listened to by somebody who was like, hey, you hate sports, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, can you please do me a favor? Can you follow this?
can you please explain to me everything you know personally about baseball?
Because I was like, obviously, strikes, outs. You know what a pop fly is? And they're like, what the fuck are you saying? And I was like, okay. Oh no. Oh, do you know what a ball is? And they're like, yeah, you throw it. And I was like, no.
We debated recording like a pickup where it's just like me and Riley in character explain the rules of
Explaining the rules of baseball. I would listen. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think I would listen to that.
Maybe we
Shadow the Hedgehog explaining baseball.
For sure,
Please.
yes.
Please record that. Like,
Yes.
after this.
Another bonus.
So, did you like the show?
Before we get into like what I love about the show,
Yes.
I think we need to talk about Interstitial.
Okay, I'm ready.
For somebody who knows little to nothing about Interstitial, can you give like the spark notes of what this game is?
I'm going to read you what I've put at the top of the Kickstarter page for Interstitial 2nd Edition. As a base level, Interstitial is the first role-playing game I ever made, and it is what made me want to become a tabletop designer. Is like, I got really into Kingdom Hearts, and the way that I create fan work is I just go like, well, I can make a game on that. and so I was like, this was originally known as the game that never was. Like the Interstitial 1st Edition is a million times more like, do you know what Kingdom Hearts is? This is that. And I broke away for that for this one. But for the 2 possible pitches to get you interested in Interstitial. Interstitial is a game that encourages you to take characters from media you enjoy and play as them, to relive multi-fandom RP days and be your most indulgent self. The second pitch is Interstitial is a game about the connections between people, the way relationships change, and affecting the world around you through the power of friendship. It's powered by the Apocalypse game, has like a heavily modified string system where it is like your stats are light, dark, heart, mastery, and as you meet people, they go into those sections of like, are they my friend? Are they my enemy? Do I look at them and see something I wish I didn't? Like, how does that play out? And you have this list of like people you have met and people who are important to you, and do they lock? Do they stay there? How do your relationships shift? And it's about doing that while also being, I am going to play Shadow the Hedgehog. And I love it. I love the game. That's why that's why I've done so many seasons of just this show.
So you said this is the 4th season of Interstitial?
Yes, this is the 4th season of Interstitial, because there was originally Interstitial AP podcast. Interstitial, it was originally for Got It Memorized, which was a Kingdom Hearts recap podcast by Wheels and Joe, who we were on the Orange Groves with. I had met them through the podcast Kingdom of Smarts, and I had talked with them, and they play tested Interstitial, and Joe was like, yo, do you want to do a bonus season for our Patreon? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. I'm like, we'll time it with the Kickstarter. And then somehow that struck a weird fire and went really, really well in a way that I was not expecting, where like a lot of people listened to Interstitial season 1. So we did then a season 2, and then we were like, we're done. That's it. Wrap it up. Call it a day. And that was like 2018, 2019, basically. And then in 2022, we got back together and we were like, okay, we can do a 3rd season. And that's where Interstitial Proximity comes in, which is like Jay, Blake, Wheels, Joe, me doing our heist season, and Joe is GMing. That was great. That ended. Joe stepped away from podcasting, and me and Wheels talked, and we're like, yo, let's bring Interstitial. I can bring Interstitial forward. I asked Wheels, like, yo, can I keep this? Can I make more of this? And Wheels like, absolutely, yes. And so we did. And Marn and I had been bouncing an idea back and forth. Like troubled teen boarding school is, I think, what it started at. It's like, what if Sasuke had to go to class? What if you had a home for wayward best friends?
Yeah, originally it was like, I was like, I want to do Interstitial, and I want it all to be like troubled teens who like need a redemption arc or like have something going on. And we were like, well, we should set it as school because like there's nowhere else for teens to be. And so it was originally my idea was it was going to be like a sort of like sports tournament or like field day boarding school arc type thing. And then I rewatched Infinity Train in I think summer 2022. With my in-laws who had never seen it before, and I messaged Riley like mid rewatching it. I was like, I got the idea.
And then it just came together, and it was like, are we actually going to do it? And we fucking did. It was just one day like, let's meet together on Monday and talk. And then it was, we're meeting together on Monday to record. We're just going. We're it's moving. The train is on.
Here we go.
Because I made the group chat, and we had the group chat for months. And it was like all of us were recording other stuff, and like we didn't have a night, and then we were like, okay, April is when we're gonna start. And then we just like picked a random night in April, and we were like, let's go, let's do it.
I want to share this. We had just started listing who are characters that would be troubled kids that would be on the Infinity Train. And I'm going to post a insane list.
It's an insane list, but I think almost every NPC or PC that shows up in the show is on there, except for like one notable exception that I can think of.
Let's see, where college guests betting, there is the large.
Okay, I'm scrolling and I'm still scrolling and okay.
Still scrolling.
It is alphabetized, and you get like
It is alphabetized. I love this.
From this list of like who do we want to play, who do we want to be there, who could be there to kind of like get our brain going, and
It's also very funny because I think originally almost all of us were going to play different characters that are still on this list. Because because originally the reason I like casted Cloud was because she immediately replied to like one of my tweets being like, I want to do a Troubled Teen show, and she was like, I would fuck it up as Denji from Chainsaw Man. And I was like, absolutely, come on this show.
I remember I was looking at Sasha from Amphibia. I think I was legitimately looking at Sean from Boy Meets World or Skull Kid. I think was my crew that I was like, oh, I'll play one of these guys.
There was somebody that Jay almost played also. I have like the full list of who we almost played somewhere.
Thank you for actually saving that. Marco Animorphs.
I'm looking.
Kaichi Higurashi would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. But
it was like Denji, Shoka, Soletta, Dave Strider, and Hunter from the Owl House was almost the party.
What an absurd world.
Wow.
There's a timeline where that happened.
I'm writing that fic. Hold on.
That's the beauty of this game too, is just like being able to say, I want to play this actual fictional character and see how they interact with like it's basically just fan fiction coming to life. And I think that's the beauty of it.
It's the funnest shit in the world. There are sometimes that like I get people who say, they're like, well, why does it want you to play a fiction character? Like, why can't you make up one? I'm like, you can, but like in the same way that you can put a self-insert into fanfic. Like it's stealing's a little bit magic. It feels good to do. We forgot our days of being on the Neopets roleplay boards playing characters. Like, there was a special time and it fucking rules. And you can reach that part of you again.
So, if that primer wasn't enough for you all to immedely go pick up a copy of Interstitial, where can people find that?
You can currently go to, and I guess I should make this a quick link. So let me just open up Square. I got to get Squarespace redirects going. But you should go, you should look up Interstitial 2nd edition, Interstitial 2E on Kickstarter. I don't have a bit.ly link yet, but I'm actually about to. Actually, you should go to bit.ly/interstitial 2E, and that will, if it doesn't get you to the Kickstarter, it'll get you to the waiting page where you can sign up to be alerted when this goes live, when the Kickstarter goes live on February 22nd. That is where you can find it. Otherwise, it is on revrybread.itch.io, or mymothercangotohell.com, which is my website, and you can access it there and buy it individually. Also,
what a domain!
Listen, I refresh that once a year. Every year I go, is $50 still worth it? And I go, yeah.
Yeah.
I flip through my baby book and I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm not normal yet.
Wow, it works. It took me to Interstitial. It took me there.
I'm a big fan of buying stupid domains.
I was going to say, Moonshot Podcast, truly the home of like stupid domain redirects.
It's just fun, man. Like, why not? Why not get a little silly with it?
I'm on the store page right now. This is such a wild tangent, and I'm sorry to me editing this in the future because this may or may not be cut out. But I found our Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined PDF, Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined physical copy.
Yeah.
Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined, just more expensive. That's it.
People have bought that. It's just like it says in that description, if you want to pay me more, you can. Here it is.
I love that.
And they do.
That's lovely.
And it's beautiful, and thank you. It's one of those things that's just like, if you have an option for people to pay more, some people just want to, and Godspeed.
I just love the in parentheses, just more expensive. That's it.
I want to be clear. I don't want to trick nobody. I just want it to be utterly clear what is happening here.
Deluxe edition. You get the satisfaction of giving me more money.
Yeah.
There is. I've been trying to figure out like Kickstarter, like tiers and stuff that don't like up my workload. And one of the things is like, because you always gotta have like a really high thing on your Kickstarter, right? You have because like people want to support that high, and if they see that number, they will. Like there are some people out there who will do that, and that's fantastic, and I appreciate them endlessly. So it's just you're on the thank you page bigger. You will be in 25-point font instead of 8-point font. And that's boom, 400. There you go. Thank you so much.
Don't know how spoilerish it's going to be. Do we talk about because normally we talk about the characters, who's in there, where they're from, what sort of class they are.
We can talk about the entire
that.
first arc, spoiler free. I think.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
spoilers open on the entire first arc for patrons.
Fine.
You can listen to everything we're going to talk about explicitly today on the Moonshot Patreon. Otherwise, you wait till the 23rd, and then or wait till the 16th, and then you're golden. But
That's just a week and a half from.
that's just a
from
week
the
and a half.
episode
You
premiere date.
got
You got it.
Wait till
You
the
can do it.
16th, but listen to Interstitial on the 16th first.
yes. Listen to Interstitial first, because we're going to get into some important themes.
Yeah, stop this podcast now. Wait until the 16th.
Yeah, yeah. The true machete order of Interstitial is you listen to this much, this much of the College of Whispers, then you stop, and then you go listen to the first 4 episodes of Interstitial, then you stop, and then you come back here,
And then you come back here
Yeah.
and
finish this.
watch the first 20 or listen to the first 24 minutes again.
Yeah.
And then you're back here. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
I'm
back,
so
everybody.
glad you
Hi.
did that crazy journey with us. Now we'll talk about the show.
And then when you finish the show, then years later, in July, message me and I'll tell you everything I said here today that I had to cut.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll tone it down. I
I
promise. I'm sorry.
No, I started thinking about a joke that was said to me earlier this morning. Okay. I'm good. We're good. Oh my gosh, look how red my face is getting.
We got it. I'm like weirdly lit right now. Everything's a nightmare.
That's why we choose podcast format, so that we don't have to worry about any of this red face stuff or anything.
Exactly. None of this.
I don't know if we've like explained this to the audience at all, but like when we have guests on the show, we like to do videos so we can like feel like we're having a more natural conversation. The listeners will never get to see that because we're just not a video show.
No.
Absolutely.
But so you can do whatever you want, funny visual gags, or
I have a lot of
nobody will ever
comedy
see
over
it.
here.
Wonderful. I cannot wait.
Utterly silent.
So, what was the question?
No, I've forgotten.
You said the first question we usually ask is about the characters
That
and
is
what they
it. We
come
normally
from.
ask which characters come into the show, who they are, what they represent, a little bit about their class. I don't know.
Yeah. So playbook wise, Marn, do you wanna let it rip for? Do you wanna take this one?
Yeah, hold on, I gotta bring up everybody's playbooks, by which I mean open the TV tropes again.
We talked about this before we started recording. You guys have your own dedicated like TV tropes fan community.
I love them.
Genuinely, it is like 2 people who keep the TV tropes updated, and they do like a crazy amount of work, and it's astounding to me.
It is wonderful because people do find the show through TV tropes, which I would have never expected. Excuse me, hiccup. I would have never expected, but they somehow do, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
For one of our charity streams, like the one that we had just announced in Interstitial, we did like an in-character, like 4 of us played a game in character, and we kept joking about how it was gonna drive the TV Tropes fans insane, because we were like, this isn't canon, there's no way this could be canon. Or is it? Jay plays Shigeo Mob Psycho Kageyama with the Friend playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Emma plays Audrey Jensen from Scream, the MTV TV show, as the Discarded, but it is specifically a version of Audrey that the writer of the first season intended to carry forward into the second season, and then they got rid of that writer and hired 2 new writers, so, like, doesn't exist in real life in the show.
Very niche.
Riley plays Shadow the Hedgehog as the other. Clown plays Trish Una as the Survivor, which is not a core game playbook. It is one that I wrote. It is a Final Girl playbook that is mostly for like horror characters, but Clown used it in really interesting ways. And I GM, and I also play Alphonse Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist as my GM PC.
Yeah, to give a quick briefer on, like, I posted a picture of the playbooks page of, like, describing what each of those playbooks are, because it's not your like your basic fantasy classes, right? So, like, the other is specifically a Roxas. The text says a copy. That's all you are. Split off from the original or put through a replicator. You are struggling for your own existence in a world that reminds you of none. The Friend is a kind person, a number 2 in everyone's life. You are there to support and care for the people when they need you most. And then the Discarded, right? Is that right?
Yes, Emma was the Discarded.
Not the main character.
Audrey. Yes.
Not the leader. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride. Someone who has been cast aside by time or person and feels resentment.
Whoa.
We a bunch of normal kids on this boat.
Yeah, normal kids.
Normal
Totally.
kids.
Kids. Shadow the Hedgehog.
He's 15 technically. He's also
What?
technically 65.
That's true. He was like in stasis for 50 years.
We
or
made
whatever.
PowerPoints for each of our characters that like give each other a briefer on like who is your dude here. And like, yeah, Shadows is so fun to make because my Shadow is very specific in like Shadow the Hedgehog at the end of Sonic Adventure 2 dies. In Sonic Heroes,
Spoilers.
yeah, sorry, spoilers.
Spoiler.
Hey, this December you are going to see Shadow the Hedgehog fall from space and potentially die.
Yeah, it's a big year for Shadow the Hedgehog fans. We got Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie coming out. They just announced, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago, a remake of or like a updated port of Sonic
Shadow
Generations. We talked about SEO very briefly before we started recording. They had to know.
They had to know.
They had to know, for sure.
Kids, if you're listening to this podcast, which I hope, like,
Google
be
Sonato.
careful. Don't Google that. Don't even Google Sonic X Shadow.
You have to learn sometime.
Ask your parents. They probably know.
Ask your parents' permission before going to fanfiction.net. Why are you going there? Still, it's the Shadow that I play. Yeah, so Shadow dead. Beefed it at the end of Sonic Adventure 2. In Sonic Heroes, he comes back and everyone's like, oh shit, you're alive. That's rad. And then over the course of that game, it's revealed that there's 1 million Shadow androids. There's Shadow replicas. That Shadow is then implied to be the real Shadow still, and he's fine, but it's not actually clear. So the impression is that this is a copy of Shadow the Hedgehog, who wasn't even the guy in Sonic Adventure 2 that everybody knows. He's not the guy who actually was around Maria. That one's gone. Like, and he has his memories. And so that is the Shadow, the version of Shadow that I play, is like that Shadow who's like, I'm not even a fucking real fake hedgehog. Like, this shit blows. I don't know what to do. And so he's going through it even more.
Yeah.
Also, vaguely, IDW comics are real, but also we're only at Sonic 06. So who knows?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Everything is happening simultaneously.
The reason I pick Shadow is because the way I pick characters is I like just pick something I'm obsessed with at the moment. And then because usually that will flux and wane with the way like my ADHD hyperfixates onto things. I'll latch onto something for a week and then it's gone. And if I pick it as a character for interstitial, then it's just like, nope, you're here now. And I like grab a bird out of the sky and like it just sits there flapping. I just have to hope that I'm still obsessed with it at the end. And this one worked pretty well. but it's I had like, I think we started talking about this like after Sonic 2 came out, the movie, and I was like, I just played Sonic Adventure 2 again, and I was like, this is great. I just love this guy. Let me bring him in. Let me bring him in. Just I don't know. Yeah.
I did the same thing. The reason Al became my GMPC is because my wife and I watched Fullmetal Alchemist 03 and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood back to back in the span of like a week and a half, and we had been talking about like the party composition is really interesting because a lot of it is characters who are at the end of their story in the media that they're from, except for like Audrey and sort of Shadow. And I was like, oh, I really want to play Al after Fullmetal Alchemist, where he has his body back, and it's like, okay, now what? Now what do you do after like all that shit has happened to you?
Eat some apple pie. I tell you what.
you chow down on some apple pie. You find foods and flavors. That poor boy. That poor fucking boy.
I need to read the IDW comics, and I need to watch Fullmetal Alchemist again.
Oh, the IDW Sonic comics are so good.
They're great.
I have so much on my list for this show. I can't like watch anything else.
I get you. I understand.
I think the first thing that everybody should watch coming into this is MTV Scream.
Honestly, MTV Screen is good, and if you don't like that, good news. Dead Teen House Party is a podcast of the Moonshot Network hosted by Marn last name, where you can find out.
I will say that is like the one reference that I was like, I have no idea what this is from.
Neither does like 80% of people listening to the show.
There's a gimmick that we call the interstitial curse, which is when we reference something in the show, it will resurface in some way. We had Sans as a character in season 2. Deltarune was released that year. Sonic Shadow's in this one. You can see us reaping the benefits of that right now.
That's crazy.
A new TMNT movie was released after I played Raph in season 3. Like, it is like, is it real? Who knows? But the interstitial curse is like, well, I'll put this thing that I want to see come back in the fucking show, and we're trying to the secret in MTV Screen as a return.
It needs to return now for sure.
I love explaining MTV Scream to people because it's like, yes, it's a slasher show named after the Scream franchise. They were not allowed to use the characters from the Scream franchise. They said no to, do you want the rights to Ghostface? Like, the Scream mask that everybody knows. They were like, no, we're good.
It'll be bad.
Huh?
So it's just like a teen slasher show that is called Scream and has nothing to do with the Scream franchise.
I'm looking at a picture
of the Brandon James killer.
That's like not even close. Well, it is kind of close, I guess, but like
it's
also
very
not
much
even
like,
close.
Can I copy your homework? Sure, but don't make it too obvious.
Make it obvious. Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
It is genuinely like one of my favorite shows of like the 2010s. It's crazy.
MTV, man.
Hey folks, we just want to take a break from the action to let you know how you can support the show. As a part of Bard Rock Network, you can support us through a number of affiliate programs, where a portion of your order goes to support the network. Everyone loves dice, right? Fanroll Dice can make dice of all shapes and sizes, as well as accessories like trays, bags, and towers. Or maybe you want to take better campaign notes. Just check out Minva RPG and look at their assortment of campaign journals and tools. Finally, You can level up your game night with tea or coffee from Many Worlds Tavern. In addition to delicious tea and coffee, they have stickers, tokens for your favorite trading card games, and playmats. Qualifying orders even come with free dice. All of those affiliate links can be found in the show notes, and you just need to use the code BardRockCafe at checkout to save on your order.
Most folks don't realize it, but the world is ripe with monsters. And when you have a monster problem, you need someone who is smart.
I came over here, I saw that there was a crime scene. I figured, I'd park here on the
Crime scene. Brave.
It's just not our fight. We just honk the horn, everybody dissipates, and we just ride away.
And qualified.
If nobody is going to assist David with this, he is going to pull out his nunchucks.
Who gave him those nunchucks?
Van Helmen's family is none of those things, but they're the best we've got, so check them out on Monster Cafe. Available now wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
The funniest thing that's happened to me linking Interstitial in like various Discords and stuff was like I linked it in like a friend's Discord server full of like people who went absolutely apeshit over JoJo Part 5 because I was like, hey, Trish Una is in this, like, y'all might like it. And someone immediately added me and they were like, Audrey Jensen from MTV Scream is in
Which is like the effect that this game can have of like, I can show you, and this happens for, there's like a bunch of different interstitial APs that are out there, and like every single one of them you do get handed a list of characters, and so you look at them and you go, what the fuck? But Pidge from Voltron, Raphael the Ninja Turtle, Tails from Sonic, Char Aznable, and then Miles Edgeworth do a heist? Yes. I love them.
and it rips.
It absolutely rips. What do you think the percentage is of interstitial parties that have a Sonic character in them?
I hope that it is decently high. Like, that's one of those things that's like, it feels like true to form. I feel like I should... these should be in here. I think if it's not over half, then I've done something wrong. I'll say this. I'll say if it's not over half for like a group of people playing interstitial having a Sonic character in their party, even as an NPC, I'll stretch it that far. It should be over half.
That sounds right to me.
Tracks. Sure.
This is great. I love the energy that we have this month. This is great.
Hit me with your questions and I will ramble.
I feel like part of it is that we just did our first recording as the interstitial teens for the first time in like 4 months yesterday. So Riley and I are like in it.
I do feel crazy.
Yeah, wow. We haven't recorded for College of Whispers in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, man, I'm worried I'm like not gonna be like entertaining or like in it.
You got it.
You guys showed up and you like smacked the iPad out of my hands and said, listen, you're gonna have a good time because we're gonna have a good time, and I appreciate that.
Play San Cristobal by Mal Bloom. Let's go. We licensed that song. We haven't really. We can use it. We paid Terror Bird Records money for it.
That actually leads to a production question. We were gonna ask, like, how do you guys like either source or do the music for your show?
We officially licensed San Cristobal by DMing Mal Bloom on Twitter and going, wouldn't this be fun? And Mal Bloom going, okay. And then working out the price for that, which is crazy. Everything else, fan fiction is stealing. Like, it's...
I know. I think you. Oh gosh, I didn't even note this at the top. We received some pre-release access to this season of Interstitial, and I believe you messaged us on at least one occasion, being like, "Hey, we re-uploaded this episode because there's some like heavily licensed music in here."
Invaders Must Die does not stay in the casino arc. but it is there in my heart.
Yeah.
I'll steal from a video game any moment of the day, but once you get into stealing music and putting that up there, that's when Lars Ulrich takes the shot. Like, that's when he's gonna shoot me to death. Like, I do not play around with that shit. I saw what happened. But it's like, we are gonna release, like, we're gonna share those clips because, like, I don't know, the Invaders Must Die cut of Invaders Must Die special in my heart. But, like, the other episodes do have, like, anime music in it, and, like, I don't know, that's fair fucking game. Like, is it legally fair game? No, it's not. Like, but, like, is it, like, am I doing a fan fiction show? Yes. I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, like, it's cool to put the Full Metal Alchemist opening under something happening to Alphonse Elric.
Absolutely.
Just tight. It's just fucking cool. Like, you have to, like, and, like, I don't know, there are people who do, we get that question not very often, but it is one of those things that's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, man, like, technically you can't make fan art, like, but we do, so at some point someone's gonna die for it. I hope it's not me, but I'm really not gonna change my ways.
What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Exactly.
Michael Mouse, you're free. I have you now.
Michael.
I'm putting Steamboat Willie in Interstitial 2E. Like, full stop, putting his imagery in there because I can. It's going to be an open page spread. It's going to say, I own you now, you rat bastard. And then we flip away from it.
Hey, you know, back the Kickstarter today. You know, it's not out for like 2 weeks yet at the time of release, but back the Kickstarter today. You better find that.
Yep,
well, you should have either backed the mooch on Patreon or waited for 4 weeks to listen to the rest of this episode. So it should be live right now.
Yeah.
Find our wild like cycle of continuity. Follow it to its natural conclusion.
Do you want
and then go back to Kickstarter?
Do you want to go to episode 8 of Interstitial, or do you want to go to the Neopets website? Jump to an hour 30 for that. What's another question?
Yeah, I'd love.
I mean, I've got one. I mean, it might be easier
We
to
got
answer.
several.
Well, yeah, we have several. Yeah, we've got loads. Yeah, hundreds. We'll be here all night.
Hundreds of
We're
questions.
just gonna keep going.
Hey, what was your guys' actual availability?
Yeah.
'Cause we might be here the next.
We might be here for a while.
Who knows?
It's like, yeah.
Marathon on Extra Life, but for podcasts. Let's fucking go.
And it's not live streamed at all.
You will get, I've done a 10 episode,
Yeah, Riley,
10 hour long podcast before. It's possible.
That's, it's crazy.
So funny. We had lav mics and walked around.
Yeah,
Chicago.
I was gonna say, you just like clipped lav mics on and just like walked around and went about your day though.
Yep. You could only mute if you went to the bathroom or were eating.
Okay. It might be easier to answer because obviously you've just done the recording. Was it hard to get into the mindset of a player playing a character who's also playing another role in that situation?
So, like, for that specific stuff where you're like doing the multi-levels of playing, that is fun for me, especially poker. Poker is easy because like I played poker with my grandma growing up, and she like made sure we all knew how to gamble, which says a lot again about my family. No one else in that room knew how to play poker, and so like I could just be Shadow talking shit, and they're like also going, when you call, that means that you're accepting the bet that someone else made. You're not going to increase it. That's a raise. All right, it's different. Which is very fun. But the thing that's hard about Shadow specifically is like, and I don't know, Marn, Al's a well-adjusted person, so I don't know if you actually actually, he's on the train. He's not well-adjusted, but he's like a polite boy.
Surprisingly, for all the stuff that he's been through.
Shadow's a real piece of shit, and it's really hard for me to like, A, not make a joke there, and B, like, be mean and not look for emotional resolution. And so like you could hear like the first 4 episodes of this, like me like gritting my teeth and like having to edit things out so I don't like resolve an issue. And I'm just trying so hard to like not be like, I'm empathetic. No, you're not. You're Shadow the Hedgehog.
There were episodes that we recorded where afterwards you were like, I feel like I was too nice to everybody.
I think the thing that, like, I think it was the library car, I amped it up, and then in where's my list? Library car, I amped it up, and then the Coliseum car, I amped it up. Like, both of those, I was like, let's drive these fuckers up. And that is like where, like, at the end of basically every arc, I'm like, let's get mean again. Like, let's just re-up the meanity.
But it was also good because it was good to have like an instigator in the group, I think.
I will say, I've had this discussion with several friends in the TTRPG space. Sometimes it's just fun to be mean.
It is. It's.
But you have to, like, I will preface this. Talk to your players and your people at your table first.
There is a part in the finale that is, I think y'all heard the fully edited version of it, but we like did a pickup and fully changed something in the penultimate episode, because like Emma and I had been talking about a interaction that our characters have, and like it was it ended up being like, I think we could have done that more interesting, and I think while things were heightened, like we could have done it smarter. And so, like, we, like, brought it down and then recut the scene and just edited it full in. And, like, I, like, organized other scenes around it even. Like, there's another, like, Jay comes in the middle of our pickup to, like, say something. And we respond to him. And it's like, hopefully you'll never know. But now you will, because you've listened to this. But, like, that is, like, oh, that's another thing with fucking action play. Is, like, especially with being mean, is, like, you can always stop and roll back.
Yeah, right.
Al was never edgy. But, like...
No.
How was getting into Al's brain?
It wasn't that hard for me because I am also always like the person in groups who's like, all right, let's roll it back a little bit. So I just like had to tap into that. I also feel like, I don't know, I don't want to, like, this feels like a bold claim to make, but I feel like the first person who's GM'd on Interstitial who's very, like, fandom-brained.
I agree with that. I don't think me, Joe, or Wheels would consider ourselves fandom-brained.
In a way where, like, I have done, like, text-based fandom roleplay for a large chunk of my life, and I did a lot of, like, OC play-by-post stuff, and so that made it really easy for me to, like, plan sessions and be like, okay, here is, like, what I want to happen. What interesting fictional characters that either, like, I like or I know the players will, like, go crazy over can I drop into the scenario and just, like, add to that soup.
Yep. Trusting in the ingredients that you have to make something together.
Yeah, and I was also thinking today of, like, the fandom and especially, like, the play-by-post of it all, I feel like gives this season a really interesting thing where, like, towards the middle and especially towards the end, we are all kind of, like, tossing the keys to each other and be like, here, you drive the car for 15 minutes. Let's see what happens.
And it's also like in the middle of these after each episode, like we just sit in that call and talk for an hour, and then like we talk for the next week constantly. And so like there's stuff that happens near the finale that like we had been signposting to each other for like, all right, I'm gonna do this shit, like we'll see, this is my idea, like we'll see what happens, and then it happens.
Yeah, and that was really interesting because, like, that is something I feel like I brought over from Play-by-Post where, like, you can talk to people out of character and be like, here is, like, the end game that I want for this, and then you and the other people mutually can, like, signpost it in the actual, like, text, and you can foreshadow, and you can kind of, like, scaffold off of each other and, like, trust each other that you are, like, going towards this mutual conclusion that, like, you both want to see happen, but you're, like, making it up on the way there.
For season 3, we had like editing episodes as we were recording them. So like when we were recording episode 10 or whatever, we were listening to episode 5, and like so we had like everything from the beginning of the season like in our heads in that way. But for Infinity, it really was just like we had talked about our plans consistently, and like things still surprised us. Like there are things there are times when events happen and it's like, oh shit, okay, that's now. All right, yeah, okay, fuck it, yeah.
Go for it.
But yeah, it's fun. Both of them feel very. They reward that kind of forward looking, which I like.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that everybody who's listening to stuff now in these episodes might show up later?
It is safe to say that everything that we do right now will have implications. It's safe to say that the decisions we make in episodes 2 and 4 have drastic implications for the tone and direction of the rest of the show, because I know that like this is like the natural progression of, I guess, interstitial, right? And having these different characters is like, do you live in a crossover city where everyone is from like a Kingdom Hearts style different world and everyone's totally separate? Is it like a big meld, or just like, boom, we're all here together in a big paste and like it's like a Roger Rabbit? Or in this, is it like you are being pulled in and like you have knowledge of these other fuckers because you all exist as everyone is fake, like, but that's okay because that's everybody, so everyone's real. Like there is no like, oh, your thing's fictional in my world, in the way that DC Comics are DC Comics exist in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and like, I don't know. I mean, I had just finished watching Never After, so that was big in my brain. And like Dimension 20's Never After, and like we did it differently than that even.
Oh, I was just gonna say that was something that you and Emma brought in that like I had not thought of as a GM, and then like you guys brought it in episode 4. I was like, oh, this is way more interesting. Yeah, we're doing this now.
I was like, how would a blunt motherfucker try to get this group together? And it's like, okay, what are the things that connect us? Which then leads to, oh, you know what Shadow the Hedgehog is. Like, oh, how many of us in this room were alive in the back half of 2001? Like, it is very clear, like, connections, and like, I don't know, I like that a lot. I fucking love it.
I will say that it is crazy that you just name dropped Dimension 20 Never After, because I was literally like sitting here while you guys were talking thinking, you know what would have been crazy? Like, I feel like Interstitial would have worked for Never After.
Yes. I don't think it would have worked in the horror sense, but like, yes.
Maybe not. But then we just like are living in this totally different universe where we're talking to you about like how crazy was it to work with, you know,
well, my buddy Jeff Stormer, who like we know and like is going to be on the next season of Interstitial on this podcast, is going to feature Jeff Stormer. He's worked with Brennan. He's worked with Brennan multiple times. Like, it's fucking cool. I'm just like, this is hype as hell. Like, it's fucking tight.
Ooh, let's do a little fun question. If you could invite a special guest or a group of guests to your show, who would they be? Real, fictional, alive, dead? Doesn't matter.
Next, Taylor Klaus, the voice actor, actor for Audrey and voice actor for Pidge Holt in Interstitial Season 3. I think it'll be very funny to have them there.
But not playing Audrey.
Not playing Audrey. I think we get Bex to dub all of Emma's lines.
Love it.
Really fucking
just
funny.
like a completely separate like cut of the show. Anytime Emma's talking in character, it's just them.
Yes, exactly. I think that'd be fucking funny.
I can talk a little bit about NPCs that I almost put in the show that didn't end up in the show,
Please
because I have
do,
a lot of them.
Go for it.
2, I think that I teased that never showed up because of just like the party literally walking in a different direction, was I was gonna put Kyo and Yuki from Fruits Basket in one of the cars, because I had been in the middle of rewatching the Fruits Basket reboot anime. I was like, oh, I like those guys. It'd be funny if like every single member of their family was on the train.
I haven't thought about Fruits Basket.
Hey, I watched it for the first time ever, like last year, because my wife is a big Fruits Basket person. That show rips. It's really good.
It's good.
And the other one, which I only came up with after we completely finished recording, and like a bunch of us started making fan work about our own show.
We have an absurd amount of fan fiction written for this. That is like, I'm just going to slowly be doling out. Marn and I have a crack ship. Like, only
that we can't talk about.
We can't talk. It only exists in fan fiction. They don't think they share a line in the series.
But one of the things I came out
Exactly.
one of the things I came out with when I was writing like outside of like extra canonical fan fiction was I was like, oh, it would be a really funny gag if Zagreus from Hades is on the train, but he can get off if he dies, and then the train just keeps showing up in like the loop of the roguelike. So sometimes he just like gets on, goes a few cars, dies, goes back to Hades, shows back up on the train in like 6 months.
Fucking funny. You forgot one that you almost added. You threatened us in the ruined city car.
That's
with
right.
Millions knives.
With millions knives.
And so from the new Trigun. So like as a younger kid, but also
baby
incredibly more brutal. And so like I had spent a week building contingency plans for how to handle him and not have us get eviscerated. And then Mar's like, he's not here. And I was like,
I ended up
cool.
not using him because I was like, he would be too powerful, I think.
He would kill everybody.
He would kill everybody.
I almost had Madoka Kaname from Madoka Magica show up, but we had to be like, is QB there? That would be, this is a buffet for QB.
Oh, I also almost
contracts.
had Mr. Spender from Paranatural, the webcomic. Yeah. Because it was like, it'd be really fucking funny to put just like a fucking like middle school teacher in with all these kids and be like,
that's all you got.
Oh no.
But it truly is. We could go on like this forever because
Riley, are we allowed to talk about the fact that we're doing Infinity 2? I
think so. I feel like it's definitely hinted at. Like I feel like we set up a world state that's interesting enough at the end that like we're like, well, we have to fucking. I'll see you in 6 years. But not 6 years.
Like 2 years.
2 years, right? Because we're doing multi. We have a plan for Riley Hopkins and Their Amazing Friends that is like interstitial, a different show, interstitial, a different show. And so right now we're recording the next different show, which is fuck it, it's a Zelda podcast. I'm really excited about it. I'll keep that secret, like what the who's on that, but like it's going to be Zelda themed. The clues are out there if you're looking for them. But the show after that is another interstitial season that I've been cooking in my head since Proximity, and then another I think this is where we're going to start recording and going at the same time, because there's going to be like seasons that I'm straight up not on, but like Jay is maybe running something or something like that, you know what I mean, or like another member of Moonshot is doing a thing, and like we have several things booked. But once we get 2 interstitials in, then that third interstitial is going to be Infinity Book 2, and we have ideas for what happened in the intervening 2 actual years.
Yeah, we're gonna do a diegetic 2-year time skip. That was always the plan.
Nice.
I'm very excited about it.
See who's there, who's not,
diegetic stuff,
who's in trouble.
So I do also kind of want to ask, because you did mention like the other shows, quote unquote, that aren't interstitial on Riley Hopkins and Their Amazing Friends. Can you tell us a little more about those seasons and what those entail? Because Tensei, our friend and producer on the network, has been telling me about Dragon Ball Uber for months and months. Like since the time I like conceptualized this show, they were like, "Hey, you got to check out Dragon Ball Uber."
This Rataf has always been a show about fan fiction, right? About like, I don't think there's enough fan fiction actual play in general. The first season we didn't use like licensed characters. We played, if not a Sun Hu, to mimic Power Rangers, and like that season's not up anymore. That's fine. The Star Wars one is like, we're working in Star Wars and we're going forward 300 years, and we play Spindle Wheel to go, how does the universe change to get the fuck away from the Empire and the Rebellion? What are more interesting things? The Jedi gone, all that shit gone. What is the world state? And how is it different, and how can we make it more interesting? And that's a very fun season. And then after that we do a 5 episodes 5 episodes recorded over my birthday. Marn is in that to play Canonized by Jeff Stormer on like the fucking Fortnite Island. Do I remember this right?
Yeah, Marn? It was like a bunch of like DC comic heroes going to the Fortnite Island for reasons I forget. You forgot poker though.
I did forget poker, and then there's intermittently I really liked the video game Night at the Inventory, which is just like the Heavy from Team Fortress, GLaDOS, Sam from Sam and Max playing poker. And they just have quips and shit with each other. That's kind of the ideal of fan fiction for me. And I was like, what, we can just do that. And so this episode we did of that is like Superman, Kermit the Frog, Joey Wheeler, and Anakin Skywalker playing cards together. And that was the one I had the most like flop sweats before of like, we're about to record something weird, and if this doesn't hit, I'm never letting it see the light of day. Because this is you have to shed the last bit of cringe from your body and soul, or else this will kill you instantly. And we did it, and it fucking ruled.
It's really good.
And then we get to Dragon Ball Uber, which is like where like this podcast and its ideas come fully in like to clarity for me. It's with my buddy Jeff Stormer and my friend Chris Hutton. We are 3 Dragon Ball freaks. We love Dragon Ball. I speak Dragon Ball like a language. You know what I mean? Like, and we play Kubrick by Weaver Roswell. Super has ended. Who are first off, let's list 30 characters that we think are important and we want to tell stories with. Let's each name an arc of this show, Dragon Ball Uber, the sequel series to Super, and let's go from there. The first arc is like we go to. Let me pull up the actual list here, because it is just like it's truly we were playing Calvin Ball with a property that we loved, and just like letting it go rip shit. Chris animated together a AMV set to Breaking the Hat to Numb Encore by Jay-Z and Linkin Park to like advertise it.
So good.
Which absolutely ruled. We had arcs like. We had the Universe 11 saga, where we go to Universe 11 and solve whatever destroyed Jiren's world. We have the League of Shadows saga, which is a Tien-centric arc. King Vegeta saga, someone brings back the Saiyans with the Dragon Balls. The Four Schools saga, which is a tournament arc, and then a road trip. It ends on Goten and Trunks going on a road trip together to like find themselves. For the Four Schools saga, it was like a tournament. Tournaments are important in anime, and we were like, let's book every step of this. Here are the 16 competitors. Here's what schools they're from. Who needs to fight who for the most interesting pathing down the bracket? And who do we want the finals to be? Who do we want this to be? And it's like, we're not like rolling dice. We're just balling out. We're just truly trucking, and like, I think Goten should fight Oob in the finals, and it should be called the final bout. And because Goku's been taking care of Oob more than he's ever taken care of Goten, and like, that's interesting. The Pan Goten fight, like, that's tight. You get to see Pan go Super Saiyan.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
It's shit like that. It's just playing pretend, playing with your toys, and that's what the next season that we're currently doing is going to be as well. Is like this style of like, let's play with these toys that we love. Except we're also playing Fellowship.
You also brought Wheels back.
We did bring Wheels back to be Miles Edgeworth in the Goku Divorce Court filler episode. Goku gets taken to divorce court, and Ox King kidnaps Edgeworth to be Chi-Chi's lawyer. Vegeta's Goku's lawyer.
Vegeta's
I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. Of course I have a law degree.
My wife, who has never seen a single episode of Dragon Ball, listened to that episode with me as I was just like listening to it, walking around the house, and had like tears running down her face.
That episode is one of the funniest fucking ones we've ever. That's like truly so like good, I think it may be a magnum opus of comedy podcasting. we have a OVA of that recorded. We have a special episode of that recorded that I need to release. That's birder focused. Birder and Jais from the Ginyu Force.
We also did an interstitial episode that was like loosely inspired by the way you did Uber, because we did People at Home, which was just us kind of like fucking around.
Yeah, People at Home is that same vibe of just like, what if we got around on the playground and just talked about the characters that we liked and what would happen if they met each other? You know, a thing that people do, or like for the People at Home episode, which is, you know, like episode 12, I think, top of my head, 11.
It's like right smack
just
dab in
going,
the middle.
What's happening to your friends and family who miss you at home right now, to these kids on the train, and just shooting the shit about it. Like, it is a blast to do shows like that, because you forget that it's just fun to talk about the things that you like with your friends. That's my pitch on Rataf.
Hey, that's why we're here. We want to shine a light on all of these lovely things.
I appreciate it.
So,
any advice for aspiring DMs out there?
Marn, you DM better than fucking I can.
So here is an interesting fact.
Showrunners in general.
So an interesting fact about Interstitial Infinity is that I had not GM'd anything in like 5 years.
One last job.
Originally, Riley was gonna GM this season when I pitched it to them, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to like play in this? Like, do you want me to DM?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me think about it." And then we did Extra Life 2022, and we did like a bonus segment that was like, we're gonna play Interstitial, and I was like, I'll GM, whatever, fuck it, I'll GM a one shot, and I did. I was like, I could do the whole season. Like literally immediately afterwards I was like, I could do a whole season of this. 100%. Awesome. And then I did, and it was probably the best time I've ever had GMing a thing, because I stopped GMing mostly because I was doing it for people who, like, didn't want to talk to each other in character, or, like, have interpersonal drama in character, which is a thing that I really enjoy. And
why play?
I know. And as soon as we started recording the season, I went from nervous to like, oh, okay, we got this. Like, I feel like you can hear in the first like 20 minutes of us playing, there is a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous anymore.
What is the thing that made you not nervous in that way? What is the thing that, like, is there anything that you did to help, like, you make sure that to make sure you took off the plane correctly? You know what I mean?
It is the moment where all of you get into the police car and start bantering in character, and I'm like, oh, I could just not say anything for like 2 minutes, and these guys will riff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the advice is everyone be a little bit of an improviser and hog the spotlight. Because like you said, there is like a million people out there who don't really want to vibe in character, or if they do, they don't want to do it wrong. And like, I think that's part of the thing that like makes like, yes, this is a comedy show, but like comedy games interesting is like, you can riff and have it be silly and then like go back to your serious shit. And I think more games need to kind of accept that, because the best APs, I think, balance goofiness and drama and know that you can hard cut from both, because you're there, like you're bought in, so it's going to work. You can't overthink like, well, does that really fit here? Does this fit here? Because like, I don't know, you did it, so it fit there. Like, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, again, I think a little of it is the like me having the sensibilities of like somebody who ran play by post, where it like modding those was just like, the mods come up with a situation and are like, okay, everybody like go and talk in character and like handle this, and we'll just like sit here and like interject things as they happen. And I think it's important as a GM to be able to be like to two of your players like, okay, the two of you want to talk to each other, I'm gonna like set up a situation where you can like sit at a bar and talk to each other for 10 minutes. And like I'm just gonna sit here and like, if you need me, ask me, whatever, I'm here.
Then that kind of your play-by-post, like playing this season and having it be so play-by-post inspired, which I think you can really hear, is what made me want to start writing fan fiction. I haven't written fan fiction since I was a teenager about the season, because like I'm like, I want to learn how these other characters talk, and so like I know how Shadow talks, and so I can write as him. And it's like, well, how the fuck did Clown do Trish? Like, what would Audrey say here? And then like as we're spanning out from there, like I like am like, okay, this person's books are in first person, right? If I'm writing Percy Jackson, he's in first person, so I gotta get in there, and I gotta, I guess, read how he writes in first person and change the writing to first person for him. Like, and like,
I think this season has probably like the most just like downtime characters talking to each other out of any interstitial season, but it feel like it works because Infinity Train is like, it's about working through your problems. It's like about getting in touch with your emotions, and also like every conversation anybody on that show has in character is just like absolutely electrifying, and they're bringing their A game to it constantly.
It is we're very lucky in the fact that like the different ways that we all role play are all like distinct, but also they all slap. And like that has come because like I am somebody who is I have been described as a plot unto myself whenever I play a role-playing game, because like I just want to do a thing and find a reason and go for it, and that in itself, even if it's like incongruent with the GM's plans, makes a interesting tension happen. And then like Jay is really great at these fucking turns of phrase that stick in my brain and like finding emotional keys. And like Emma is great at like nailing that a specific voice and keeping it restrained, and then just like letting it rip when you don't expect it, which is perfect for a fucking slasher. And Trish can and Clown can talk in JoJo voice. I don't know how she does it. She just talks like that. I can see
the spirit of Trish Una like comes through her. It's crazy.
The menacing symbol.
You can hear Trish Una have killing intent, and when that happens in the show.
Clown also, like, out of character was like always thinking like 3 episodes ahead, which was crazy, and would like DM me and be like, here's like how I want to structure like my end game stuff for Trish. And I was like, that's awesome to know, because that lets me put that into my plans.
Yeah, so it's like just that open communication of like we are all driving a car together.
And we're like, we stop at every stoplight and somebody else takes the driver's.
Fucking fire drill out. And like, I don't know, my version of messaging Marn is just messaging Marn in any fight going, you can kill Shadow right now if you want to. Like, you can hit me with a truck. You can hit me so hard I die. Like, and I will accept that. Like, it'll be metal. If you think that it'll be emotionally impactful to turn me into rubble, do it. And Marn going, I'm not going to kill you. Like, hit me as hard as you can.
Like, I dare you.
Kill me. No ear. You
Hit
won't.
me. Hit me.
They're not joking either, which is the funniest part. I have so many DMs from them mid-session that are like, hey, if you want to like just shoot Shadow right now,
I will give you $10 American.
Because I think there's a part of me that in my head is like, I think one of the wildest things is like when a story just ends suddenly. And like, I think that at any point we like, you can take that and you can run with it in a interesting way, as long as everyone is down for, as long as the person dying and the person killing are down with it. Like one of the cut things from later in the season is like, I ask another player, can this person push you through this? They go, do not do that. And I go, cool. And then we cut that whole shit out. It's gone. But like, it is that like making sure that like you can do drastic things, you can make them sharp, you have consent of everyone at the table, and you just straight up pause the action to go, is this okay? And then everyone goes, yes or no, and you go, cool, I will move forward. Like, consent, being okay to improv, and also write fan fiction, and boom, those are my advices.
Also, like
3 steps.
A really just like on the topic of character death, a really interesting emergent thing that happened as we got into the back half of the season was we all started realizing like, oh, these characters getting their exits off the train feels like character death to everybody else in the party.
Yep.
In like a way that was emotionally very interesting.
Yeah, it's like they did it. They got out. Also, I'm never going to see them again. Like, which is like wild, because it's if you view it that way, like it can get like you have to like really it's like, what is the subtext now? But it's still like sometimes people leave your life and move and you don't see them again, but that time you had together is so fucking special. And like, man, I love theme, and that's it we only get because we sit and talk. And like, again, that's not a thing that every table is going to want to do, but like, I don't know, shoot the shit is great. Shooting the shit in character is wonderful because you flesh out that character more. You get to get in their head and think about how do the group of you do a cooking show together? Like, go. Write that one down.
Hang on, I'm going to my spreadsheet.
Yeah,
I'm writing cooking show car.
Cooking show car. Yep, let's stick that in there.
One of the fanfics that Marn and I had the idea for a dating show car, and that
was
never,
like very early into the show. Also,
it never happens. But I do now have like a 6-page fanfic of someone in the dating show car.
I have straight up just a list of cars that I never got to use. I'm saving it for Infinity 2.
I can just see Paul Hollywood now trying to turn up in interstitial Infinity
Paul Hollywood,
Train.
but he's like a sheep. He's like,
Yeah.
I did just open it and wrote cooking show car on the next line of the list.
It's going to be fucking great. Well, because you have the hosts of the cooking show car. You have Senshi from Dungeon Meshi in there. He's just there. I'm gonna make something interesting. Like,
we were literally just talking about one of the Dungeon Meshi characters got on the train.
I missed that. Oh yeah, no, I didn't miss that because it's like Laos would eat denizens.
Yeah.
He would be on some Apex shit and like, it's like Finn from Adventure Time, Laos from Dungeon Meshi, like characters who would like train would make them worse, but they would have a great time.
Let's see.
I do want to mention real quick.
Yes.
We talked about editing. This is a non sequitur, and I am hard cutting this just because I want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Episode 1's editing was a nightmare, and here is why.
Yes, that is on our list.
That was the list.
we have here editing atrocities.
Yeah.
I always record a local backup when I record. I'm recording one right now even. Like I always have my stereo mix going into my Reaper separate from my microphones. I capture everyone's audio. Usually we bring Craig in as well to record a multi-track with Discord. Then everyone records locally.
I forgot to bring in Craig.
Don't worry. I have a backup.
Thank God.
But so I went through this and like I start looking at episode 1 like shortly after recording, and I was like, this is great, I can't wait. And I get 4 tracks. I'm like, Marn, Jay, me, Emma. Clown, where's your recording? Oh, we were supposed to record? It's Clown's first podcast. I did not tell them. That's on me. I was like, what did you think happened when we were clapping? I was like,
she legitimately didn't know.
No.
So that is pieced together, and you could hear some doubling in there in that first episode of like 2 voices happening at once. That's because Clown's entire track is off of the full group mono track, cut and pasted wildly. And then
Wow.
And then the second
I feel you. I feel your pain. This exact thing has happened to me.
I was like, I'm not mad at you. I understand. I didn't tell you. That's on me. God damn it. And then the second episode, I feel like the second episode also had some shit with it, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, because Cloud was recording an iMovie. She has GarageBand on that computer. It comes free with your Mac. But she loaded up an image of Finn James from Blaseball because you need an image if you're going to record audio.
I think several of her episode audios are recorded in iMovie. We only convinced her to get Audacity in like episode 5 or 6.
Because she was like, oops. Do you want this as like an MP4? And I was like, right now, you go to this link right now. You click Audacity right now. Share your screen.
Oh, no. You want this as MP4? -1, maybe?
How do you feel about a QuickTime movie? But it's incredible. Cloud, I roast Cloud about this all the time, so I don't need to apologize for shit. You did this.
God bless Cloud. She has the podcaster's spirit, but is like a reverse technological wizard. Things happen to her computer that I've never seen happen to another living person.
We all have a friend.
The podcaster's spirit, but magnets for hands.
Magnets for hands. Crazy.
Just go like, what's that hard drive doing?
between like Cloud and Emma, and maybe like some of us had other shit going on. We took like a whole month off recording in the middle of the first couple arcs.
Yeah, well, there's like there is an episode in which like my fire alarm goes off. Emma like falls over. Jay here has like a leaky ceiling. Cloud's fire alarm also goes off. And it's like, are we going to die here? What day is it? Would you believe? It was a Monday in September. It's the actual fucking day, and I was like, we asked for this. This is on us, I think.
Oh man.
Utter fucking chaos. But yes, yeah, that is the editing atrocity, and so no one has said anything, so I feel safe to reveal that now, fully in the light of day.
See, slightly off record, like this, I've experienced this exact atrocity when we when Bard Rock Cafe did their musical episode.
Oh no!
Not one, but two tracks were corrupted and unusable.
Oh god!
So I had to cut and paste like the group recording for two different people.
I'm going to die.
That's so much worse.
I think by the grace of, whatever God is out there and the three other people that descended upon that project with me, we got it done.
God.
But wow, like when the next time they decide to do a musical, we're gonna do it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's also, I think,
this is all I will say. There
was an edit that was like Marn finished a complete edit, and Jay's audio was like a little blown out. I can't remember what episode this was, and like
3 or 4, I think.
It sounded bad. It was too crackly. But I know that was an export issue on my part because I leveled all the tracks, and so I was like, Marn, can you give me just Jay's track, please? And I took Jay's track alone, and then the track I had, and Marn's is edited, mind you, completely edited. And so I just cut and paste and line up every single waveform. Wow. So it's the better quality audio. Send that to Marn, have them replace the file name or whatever.
I didn't know that was how you did it. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I was like, it had to work. It was like, we can't release it sounding like this. Like Jay's blown out. It's just like piece by piece, lining up each waveform, going, that waveform's not there. Cut. Like, move it in. Lost like 20 minutes of audio in there from how much you had edited. I think I added in one laugh that you didn't add in.
This is part of why I wanted to do this show, was to like shed some light to like the listening and viewing public about just the kind of like crazy like jerry-rig stuff that like podcast editors have to do sometimes. As much as we love talking about the content of a show, the behind the scenes process and like the just weird like gear mechanism that just looks like it shouldn't work, the weird Rube Goldberg machine of like start to finish is just fascinating.
This is like
hearing about it from other people is so like vindicating.
We have, so me, Marn, and Jay are all editing Interstitial. We've split the episodes up. And it's fascinating to see the different styles of editing that we are each doing.
I agree. I was about to say that.
Like, I am like, what if we had room tone right now and like the sound of a door opening and an elaborate soundscape? And Marn is like, what if the music hit sick as fuck? And I haven't gotten to listen to any of Jay's yet. I was with the fucking Coliseum.
I was trying to describe like our different editing styles to somebody the other day, and I feel like Jay is like the perfect midpoint between the two of us, because Jay does like a fiction podcast and knows how to marry like a soundscape and music, whereas Riley's like, I'm gonna create like an elaborate soundscape and not put any music in it, and I'm like, I don't want to do all that. Here's a sick needle drop.
I went through and like there's a part in arc 3, like we spend a couple episodes in one location, and I have edited 6 minutes of walking, which is like walking music, like beeping over here, a table over here, like sounds of things being dropped over here, like so that way I can loop this like background noise of this busy area with like
you did
chatting.
that for when they're on the outside of the train too, you made a loop that's just like train noises, which I appreciated.
Outside of the train and Italy. Italy is like, I love you, Soundstripe. Thank you, Soundstripe, for having a bunch of wonderful sound effects. Thank you. But like, I'll pull those up and like go through, like sit there and be like, all right, Village Market 1, Village Market 2, all right, footsteps on stone. Okay, footsteps on stone 2. Heavy footstep on stone, heavy footstep gravel. Like just like click, 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 click. No baseball sounds on Soundstripe, by the way. Had to download a Unity asset pack of baseball sounds, which killed it. Fucking incredible. Hard hit, weak hit, hard pitch, weak shit. Like, and then organs, just a bunch of organs. Shout out to the organer community for covering every single anime song on pipe organ. Thank you. Did those episodes work, by the way? Like, does baseball work? I need you to be real with me right now. I have time to fix it if it doesn't.
I will say, I've never, in my actual play listening career, I don't think I've had a baseball episode come up yet. So it was very novel.
Yeah. I'll take it. I understand the words you're saying. I processed it. And I'm going to go, Marn, we have a recording after this now.
Baseball was just a little bit like my gift to Emma.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I loved it. It was like...
Did you get the edited version or did you get the raw files?
I think I got the raw files on that one.
You're dead. I'm sorry. That's dead. If you go back and listen to it now,
it's over.
Crowd noise. I have cut so much of it. The announcer is going, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. There's pitching noise. There is like very clear leaderboards and segments marked.
That's the one I had, so I don't know if I was
Fair
behind.
Enough. I'm going to go...
I would recommend that one.
Riley made it snappy.
Because we were there for 4 hours playing baseball. And like, it's 4 people going, I love the sport of baseball. And Jay going...
You can tell the moment it gets to be past Emma's bedtime because all of Emma's characters stop speaking.
Lynn Scutley leaves the arena.
Bye.
Once we hit 10 p.m., Emma was like, I'm done.
I'm a pumpkin now. It's so fucking funny.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for the baseball episode. Hey, pause this, go listen to the baseball episode, and now come back.
You know how I said in an hour and a half you'll have a new episode to listen to. Good news.
Ta-da.
I'm so glad to tell you. I don't know when the baseball episode's coming out. But,
May 10th and 17th.
Oh gosh.
Man, we're gonna get so many like just extra listeners on this if people follow the canonical order. Is this the key? Is this how you get more podcast listeners?
This is how you do it. I am going to.
You just.
I think that you are the only people outside of like the group chat that we've been able to talk about like full ass spoilers with.
So I just want to kind of sit here and ramble, but this is a question show, and so I should shut the fuck up.
Well, here's the thing, right? We have like some pre-canned questions on a Google Doc, but we've found a lovely pattern with our guests that we've had on the show so far, where we just let them loose.
It's fair.
And you guys can talk about whatever you want, and we won't stop you.
I guess that's fair. That's hey, that's a chill show. I get it.
It's so.
Here's the question from the beginning that we had to talk about to answer, and then I asked you, and we had to pause to actually talk about what we're talking about. Did you like the show? Yes. Thank you. That's all I needed.
Yes. I'm going back to listen to the.
That's what we call a callback. That's what we call a callback.
Oh,
that's full circle.
There's nothing that's been in my brain other than did they like it? Did they like it? Did they like it? Did they like it? Did I get a good grade?
The week that like the first episode went live, I kept getting hit with like, oh, people are like listening to this thing that like 5 of us have been obsessed with since like April and haven't been able to talk to anybody about.
Yeah, when did you guys start recording this? Actually?
April 2023, right?
Yeah, we started in April. We finished the week of Halloween. But we had at least 1 month-long hiatus in there.
Yeah, we went to Extra Life having just finished, and so the 4 of us could not shut the fuck up about this show. And everyone else around you is like, I'm glad you had a really good show. When's that coming out? January? Great, that's awesome. Can you talk about anything else? And that's going like, oh.
Yeah, we're the most annoying people to be around.
Marn drew our numbers on our hand, and I looked at that for the next week, deeply emotional listening.
That's what the cover art that was the model picture for the cover art.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It was.
I love the cover art.
Thank you.
Walker fucking crushed it.
Walker's sick.
I love that. I think it's Audrey's hand. That's just in a wildly different art style to everybody else.
Walker went through and got the right line weights on everything, which I think is just really fucking cool. Went through and made sure okay, how can I make this how can I make this very clear that these are disparate characters? And yeah, Audrey's is rendered in a very real way, and it's hilarious. I additionally had another idea for the cover art, but I think it would have been too goddamn expensive. Because I wanted a Days of Future Past grid of
oh wow,
basically the list we shared with you, drawings of all of them, and they're all in black and white, but the only ones that are lit up are the characters who are on the show. And then Interstitial Infinity, but that would be unprocessable. That's too much visual information, and to be hi, can you know how it's usually $100 a character or something like that? Can you draw me a bust of 40 characters? Is that okay?
Yes, that'll be $4,000.
Yes, understood. Yes, I'll go home now.
Yes, I'll go home.
Thank
you. Oh man,
that's that. Is there anything else we want to get into, Marn?
I don't know. I mean, yes, always. I could talk about the show forever.
That is the thing. Is we'll just keep fucking going. Metatext arc is great because we named all these arcs too. After we released these to you, we named all the arcs and decided on the arc release style for Patreon because we want some cliffhangers to hit, and you have to sit with them because cliffhangers are good. And I love you for every other interstitial, you can just open palm slam the whole season, which is great. But then everyone listens to the season in a day, which is you don't have people talking about it.
Yeah, and even some of our even some listeners were like, are you gonna put the whole season on Patreon at once? I kind of don't want you to. And so we had to go into the workshop and be like, are we gonna put 20 episodes all there in one day? Because that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, you can, but this way people are going to be able to talk about it. The finale is going to go live at
for
the
everybody
same time
on the same day. Yeah.
Cool.
And so nice. Everyone gets those last chunks together, and I don't know, man, that's fucking, I think that's the right way to do it. I think that
yeah,
binging is great and I love it, but also it sucks shit and it's not good. It's not a good way to consume media. This is also where I get into my rant about the podcast minds being about okay, here we go. I miss a TV guide and shuffle and randomly curated things. Yada yada. So this is us curating these episodes and handing them to you in decided upon batches with great fucking names. Metatext, fight your feelings, invaders must die, kill your enemies, batter up, and last train home.
Train home. Wow.
I also made art for them. Hold on.
You did make art for them.
I have the art somewhere.
That's another song that might just go in the episode.
What, Last Train Home?
Yeah, Last Train Home.
Yeah.
I might just be that's a 70s band. Who gives a shit?
I have the art with the episode names, which is fine. Y'all have listened to it. It was whatever.
Let it rip.
Oh, we could talk about the advent calendar.
Oh yeah, we did. we realized it was 25 days away, and I messaged Marn like, hey, do you want to do an advent calendar? Because I had just listened to somebody talk about advent calendars and like how fun they were, and I just got to do my first one because my wife made me a little advent calendar with little presents to open every day because I love to open presents because I'm a child.
No, I completely understand. Alyssa tried to get me one this year, couldn't find one at the store.
Mandy gave me the one that she had from when she was growing up, so it's like, and she wrote a note every day in it too. It is fucking wonderful. But so like I was just like, it'll be awesome. Is like, what if we did that, but to walk up for this season of the show? Because we have been horrified that like somebody out there would be like, it's a shame they only made 3 seasons of Interstitial. And like that would kill me if like somebody did not know that this was here now. Because like every other season has been a surprise drop. And that's why this one we've just been signposting like, please come here. Please
Since
come
May.
here.
Like, we had only recorded, I think, 4 episodes when we told people that it was coming out in the winter.
There's the fucking original photo of our hands with the ink on them.
Oh, lovely.
But it's so fucking stressful. And we ended up getting the numbers. The first season just did a little bit under where season 2 came in. And so, like, I'm very happy with that, especially for a new feed to have, like, the amount of listens on there that have landed. That's beautiful. That's beautiful to me. Podcast analytics is fucked. It's weird, man. I don't know what's good and what's bad. Every once in a while, me, Mac from Roomware, and Jeff Stormer sit together and go like, what are numbers? Is this good? Is that good? I don't know, man.
What are numbers? So if anybody did want to talk about the show with you guys while the episodes are being released, where's the best place to talk to you?
You could talk on any social media site of your choice and use hashtag interstitialAP, all one word, and I will see that. Like, we'll look at that, we will love it, we'll cherish it. Or you can go to moonshotpods.com/discord for a link to our Discord server, and there's the Rat Half channel in there. We have a public chat, and there's a thread that has the metatext spoilers, and that will be updated to like, here's another one for the next one, so on and so forth. So that way there will always be a safe place to talk about spoilers, and there will be a safe place to just kind of chill and talk about the season. Also, fucking, like, if you're in Marn's Writers Discord, there's an Interstitial Infinity thread in there. If you're in the No Peace Production Discord with me, Sarah, and Ray, and Colin, it's a chat in there. It is disparate everywhere, so I do ask you, if you make something cool, please hashtag InterstitialAP. I want to stare at it so bad. Like the wonderful work Plakwas did today. Plakwas, master meme maker extraordinaire. No one does it like he does it, has delivered yet again fantastic work, and I'm just gonna paste this image here as well. I'm just
if you use the Interstitial Infinity tag on Tumblr, I will find it. Like, the person who was looking at the website was like, did anybody notice there was like a phone number hidden in here? And I was like, oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we ran an ARG, dude.
Yeah,
we were.
Marn visited me in Chicago, and I'm someone who needs an event to have for my guests, or else I freak out. And like, we were sitting there, we had burgers, we had some beers, and then I was like, oh, what if we did a small arc? And then we got out a huge piece of paper and crayons and like drew out the map for an ARG, like a consolidated like train tables, and then here's what these are, and here's what these rewards are, yada 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 yada. And
so some people have gotten to hear bits of like episode 5 early because we hid a bunch of it in like secret web pages on the Moonshot site.
Episode 1 was leaked early in
this
we leaked
arc,
episode
and
1
no
one listened to it because they're like, well, it's not out yet.
Yeah, everybody who solved the ARG to the end got just like the Google Drive file of episode 1, I think like 3 months in advance, and only like 2 people listened to it.
So funny, because they're just like, no, it's I want to listen to the rest too. And if somebody had finished the final puzzle of the ARG, we would have sent one person like a link that would get deleted of episode 2. So
I just been like, nobody will ever believe you.
No.
God.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Just like, oh yeah, you have a picture of it.
I do.
Okay, fucking. Oh, I should get one of those pretzel peanut butter things. That shit was delicious. You see that in that shot? I'm fucking hungry.
Man, I'm getting hungry too. With that, I think we're gonna call it an episode. Riley, Marn, it has been so lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about Interstitial. So yes, Interstitial 2E Kickstarter, February 22nd. Riley Hopkins and their amazing friends. Interstitial Infinity coming out. What kind of schedule are you guys on? Bi-weekly?
Friday. Every Friday.
Every Friday.
Every fucking Friday. It would be funny to do one of these and release it every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
That would be
just information overload.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. I might do a season like that. But yeah, you can get arcs early on the Patreon, which is like 3 episodes here, 4 episodes there, so on and so forth. So if you want to get listen early, you can, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit. And then what do you got for the rest of the month with you? And then I will be drip feeding my fanfic onto AO3 as it no longer has spoiler relevance. None of it is canon. It's not canon. Shadow doesn't meet Mewtwo. I just think they should.
Oh. Yes, for sure.
Also, Alphonse, Elric, and Rachel from Animorphs. I think they got something together.
I love this show. But yes, thank you two so much for being on. It's been a pleasure. And that's going to be it for us this month at College of Whispers. We're a little late, but we made it into 2024. So we will be back in February, except it's already February. Yes. So we'll be back later in February with the cast of Magic Isn't Real, another new kid on the block.
Oh, let's go.
Hell yeah.
So,
and then you'll be back in June with a little bit from baseball, and then you'll be back in July with a little.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't forget. Please come back, and then come back again, and then come back again.
And then finish listening to Interstitial again just to get those numbers up a little bit more.
Yeah, and then now pause and go listen to the finale.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you're back. Okay, thank you for listening to Interstitial Infinity.
Yeah.
And now thank you for listening to this episode of our show, I think 5 times. Wow, you're so dedicated. We love our fans.
We've trapped you in a time loop, listener.
You are stuck here.
You are now in Hinamizawa.
You are in the interstitial time loop.
In the Apex episode, I'm gonna play Sadako Hojo or Homura Akemi, and I want them to talk to Rika. I want Homura to talk to Rika from Higurashi, and just have them bash their heads against each other.
I'm very excited about the Apex episode because it's just us being like, who are the worst teenagers that we could possibly play? Like, we don't want these kids to get along anymore.
Can I say what Emma has currently said? Or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Emma's gonna play Bart Simpson.
Nice. Cannot wait for this.
May your backlog grow ever shorter.
Just quit that.
Thanks for listening to College of Whispers. Our intro and outro song is Everything by Winter Wayfarer. Check them out on all major streaming platforms. You can find College of Whispers on social media at all the relevant places listed in the show notes. College of Whispers is a Bard Rock Network production. Learn more about the network in the show notes and on social media. Thank you for checking out our show. As a reminder, we're part of Bard Rock Network, who you can support by checking out our sponsor, Dragon Master Games. Support our local game store, get yourself some TTRPG essentials, and help the network produce some more excellent content. It really makes a difference. Our show and all the other shows on Bard Rock Network wouldn't be possible without the support of people like you on our Patreon and Ko-fi. That's why we like to thank supporters who pledge above a certain tier at the end of network productions. This month's top supporters are Sarah, Queen, Viralore, Khadijah, Marty, and Paul. Thank you all so much for supporting the network. If you want to get shoutouts and other rewards, pledge on our Patreon or Ko-fi today. Links in the show notes.